Welcome to the Jackson Network, the real Jackson news, where there's no fluff, no distractions, just real Jackson news for the real Jackson citizen. I'm your host, Forsyth. Many of you know me. Um, I was reviewing the video for the city council that happened recently about the grocery stores. My question is today is, what is the fate of the local grocery stores here in the city of Jackson? What is the fate of the local grocery stores here in the city of Jackson? Because a lot of them are closing down. A lot of them got a lot of have been closed down, and answers is folks is trying to give certain answers, but it seems to me it's like the city council is not getting the answers that they need to hear to better help the citizens of Jackson, us. You see, the residents is the key here. Now, I was reviewing the city council that they held, and I'm not I'm not hopeful. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative here, but I'm not as hopeful as because from what I was reviewing on, you had a real estate professional there. You had a manager of a grocery store, Save a Lot there, and you had planning and development there, and you had a lot of other different individuals there that was trying that was gave input on the on this food, this grocery issue, because South Jackson right now don't have a grocery store. Right now, Jack, and now they're talking about they're looking at other grocery stores which they didn't name, that kind of crap. Come to a meeting, and people are not, you come to a meeting to have a discussion about something as serious as this. You would think that people that's interested in coming in and doing business would show up. People that's interested in doing business would show up. But they don't, but they didn't show up. They sent these representatives. They sent these people to speak for them. But the people didn't name the names that they were dealing with. They just said that it was crazy, because it's like they come in and they give their rhetoric, and they talk around stuff. It's like, well, the people that we're talking about, that we think that that's thinking about coming in, they're talking about a whole new structure. They talk about we want to build a whole new structure. Then you had some talking about maybe the Walgreens structure is ideal, which that's very alternative. That's a good alternative measure. But as from what I'm looking at it in my years of being down here, and right at this point, a mini grocery store would be feasible. A mini grocery store like we used to have long time ago, when I used to come down here when I was a kid. It was called Black's Groceries. Not that crap on Ellis Avenue. I mean, excuse me, not Ellis Avenue, on Capitol Street. Not that junk up there. Not that junk up there. That's not Black's Groceries. The real Black's grocery store was a mini mart. They even had little shopping carts. When you go back there, you get your meat. You go on the side, your produce, and you come in there. You can get your little canned goods, or your spaghetti, your meat sauce, whatever you want to get right there on the aisles. Candy, potato chips, everything was right there. Everything. So I mean, that right there helped the community a lot, because it beats them going to the grocery store. That beats them little small miniature little stores like that would help the neighborhoods, because you can get the neighborhoods in different sections. You ain't gotta have big box grocery stores coming in. Kill that. You kill that right at the door, and then you can minimize the grocery stores that services the community. And not only that, that also helps buy the time. Now I understand that there's a cost. There's always cost in running such grocery stores, because I do understand that a lot of times they don't give you incentives like they give the big box grocery stores, like the Walmarts, the Targets. I understand that. But there's something out there. Trust me, it's something out there. Just say, for example, if the community was to build their own vegetables, what they was to grow their own vegetables, the community grow their own vegetables, get with the farmers markets. Man, that would be a blessing. Have the farmers market not just in one area, have them in different areas of the city, where you just everybody come. Got folks that does just seasonings. Got folks that does the apples and oranges, and the pears and all that stuff. They do all those groceries, and you have those mini marts go down there and do business with those people. That's the key. That's the key. Go to XL Meats and talk to them. Try to see if you can get, what you can get. Go to Tyson Foods. I'm just saying. I mean, something. Because the thing about that is that, it's, like I said, that's needed. Now, that right there, a small little mini mart is needed off the rip. And there's I ain't no doubt about that. Why it wouldn't work. There's no question that it'll work. No question that it'll work. But because the one thing that I do despise. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. I despise is these foreign bodegas. These folks coming in, they don't care nothing about the community, and they just do us like they just do us any old kind of way. You got these foreign communities, they come in and they price gouging. You go into a regular store, a little convenience store, in the morning time, the price on an item might be this price, and in the afternoon it's another price, because it's not marked. They don't do that. And we allow that stuff to go on in our communities. I don't understand that. That don't compute with me. And we constantly let it carry on, let it go on and on and on, because we won't take the responsibilities to do for ourselves. We won't take the responsibility to do for ourselves. We won't go and get our LLCs and get it properly set up and everything like that, in order and get it structured correctly. Mission statements and things of that nature. in budgets and things of that nature. We're not going to be doing that. Oh, that's too much. I mean, come on. And then we complain about, you know, what they're doing to us, but we're doing this to ourselves. Somebody brought up in that meeting about a co-op program, right? Where you have a community of people get together and invest in a grocery store, and they have a panel of those investors come in and they talk about the fate of the grocery store. We know how the grocery store is thriving and the long-term effects of the grocery and the grocery store, and what can be done to better it, to make it better. That's a very good idea. Will it be adopted? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. But I wouldn't put it past it. It won't. But I'm not saying that it wouldn't. I'm not saying that it wouldn't. But I'm not saying that it will either. Because and not for the life of me, these Indians, the Indian community, they're really getting on my nerves. They really, they just coming in here and they bloodsuckers of the poor. They bloodsuckers to the poor people. That's what it is. I'm just gonna call it for what it is. They bloodsuckers to the poor people. They don't care nothing about the community. Nothing. And then you got manager from Save a Lot. This guy. I mean, cool cat. I mean, but he wasn't very talkative. He was just coming down there. In my opinion, he was coming down there just to show face and ass. In my opinion, cause I'm like this dude. Dude wasn't an owner. He just said he was like, he was like a manager of employees over there. He didn't say he was the owner. He's the manager of employees over at the Woodrow Wilson location. But I'm okay. So, and all he talked about was something that the city has control over, and that's the roads and police presence. Come on, look. I ain't trying to beat nobody up, especially a brother. Especially a brother. But from the way he came and made his presentations, he didn't have very much to say. Them types of solutions right there is already known. We do need police presence. Yes, we do need our streets paved. Yes. But that ain't the entire problem. That ain't the entire problem. You come to a meeting like that, bro, you supposed to be giving your input. Scott Crawford gave his input. He gave a valuable input. Problems and solutions. This dude, he gave problems and solutions that was already there, that was affecting his location. And then then it's a lot of stuff that his company wasn't telling him. So that's how he wasn't no owner. He ain't no owner. He just like he said, he is a employee manager for that store. That's all he is. That's all he is. Employee manager. So that's up to you. I'm reporting. You just decide. You make the decisions on. You go back and go onto YouTube and take a look at that thing, the Jackson or go onto their network, but you can go onto YouTube and get it and look at and review that video and see what I'm talking about. It was a lot of it was a lot of good that came out of that meeting. It was a lot of good that came out of that meeting. You know, and but like I said, but one problem that I do see that is like not that had to be addressed, and I'm glad that that was addressed. That question was asked. It was about that was about the Jackson Command Center, how they monitors the stores when you hook your camera up to the stores and they monitor. That is not being disseminated. He wasn't even aware of something like that happening. You put up a camera and you can get it sent to the commands. They'll monitor it for you. But if the question is like these convenience stores, yo, I'm sorry, but I got to go in on these folks. Is they willing to do it? Oh, he's in my grocery store. I have too much money. I don't want to buy camera. What the? Give me a break. Give me a break. They want you. They just want to make the bread and want you to spend your bread to help them out. And then when something happens, they play victim. That's what's going on with these Indian stores and these Arab stores. The Jacksonians call them these Jew stores. Yeah, but I'm telling you, that's what they do. That's what they do. So call me what you want, but don't call me collect. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Jacksonians. Let's keep it 1,000. All they do is price gouge. And then when something go down, they get stuck up or something. Somebody comes in there and stick a gun in their face and take their bread and get on down. They play holler victim. Victim. But in the meanwhile, they watching you. They're treating you like you're a criminal. Then you come because you come in there with a EBT card. My machine is off. They don't want to deal with you. Their machine be on, but they don't want to deal with you. They want you to come and spend cash. They want you to spend cash. Nah, it's broke. My machine broke. You know what I'm talking about. It's broke. They want you to spend cash. Kids come in there to treat the kids like crap. Blame the kids for stealing. But then when, like I said, when somebody come and stick them up, they play victim. If you would treat the community like people, know the people, learn the people, and be a part of the community will be a part of you. I believe me when I tell you, I don't condone, I don't want nothing to happen to nobody, because anybody can be robbed. And I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want it to happen to them. I don't want that to happen to nobody. But I'm just saying, don't cry for help from the community when you don't want to help yourself to be a part of the community. Don't cry for help. Don't cry for help for the police to come and help you out, but yet you don't want to put a camera in your store or around your store so it can be monitored by the command center. Come on, man. Make that make sense, Jackson. I'm gonna tell you how a TI is. I ain't finna sugarcoat anything, because straight up the time for sugarcoating stuff is over. It's over. They don't care about the community. They come in, just like we got this like a store. There's a store right down there on Jane Avenue. There's a store down there on Jane Avenue in Lindsay. Been vacant forever. It's a good grocery store. That could be a mini grocery store. That could be a mini grocery store. A mini grocery store. The old blacks storefront. That could be a mini grocery store, because it had a laundromat. It had a little laundromat next door. Folks come in, do their laundry, boom, boom, and get on down. That's community right there. Tell me that ain't community. I don't know if that ain't community. I don't know what is. All they had was like a little grocery store right there, a mini mart plus the little laundromat. You got traffic. You got traffic. Everybody need their own laundry straight. Man, I'm telling you. You got traffic. Put a TV right there. Everybody in there chilling, doing their laundry. Make it happen. Grocery store right there. Man, as soon as when I was a kid, I remember when I used to come down here in the summertime, going up there to that store was like no other, like going to any store in New York. It just felt like that. It was cool. You go in there, the whole store lit up with air conditioning. It was always cool. It was always breathable up in there. It wasn't hot. Folks wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was always traffic in and out. Nobody hanging around the store, none of that. The lady used to go right next door, you know what I'm saying, do the laundromat, make sure the laundry was straight. She used to, you know what I'm saying, come on, man. Everybody going in there doing their laundry, come out of there. That's a community store. It didn't have nothing to do with another store on the other side over there by over there on the other side of over there by Prentice, over that area. It had nothing to do with that other side. They had their own community over there. That little small spot had served the community over here. It didn't have nothing to do with the community over there. You didn't have to go over there to those other communities because you had everything right there. When you need to go and do some big box stuff, you go right up there. At the time, it was called Jitney Jungle. You go up to Jitney Jungle and get what you get, make your groceries that you want to get. But in the meantime, during the weekday when you're coming home from work, go right there to the mini mart. You're gonna get something to cook for the night. Right there to the mini mart to get something to cook for the night. Everything fresh. You ain't got to throw nothing out. You had the chicken. They had pork chops. They had fresh ground beef. Mr. Black used to make the ground beef up. He had the chicken wings. Come on. He had the neck bones. He had all that stuff up in there. All fresh. Ready to rock and roll. Put it on the scale. Tell you what it is. Wrap it up. And get it to you. Mark it on there. And you go up to the counter and pay for it. But when these Indians came in here, they changed the game. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Stop playing, Jackson. Stop playing. When them Indians came here, they changed their game. Cut all that shit out. They don't want to deal with the community. They don't want to deal with the community. He used to give folks credit. He used to have where you could just write it on the books, come back and pay him. Because he knew they wasn't detached. We used to come down here, he knew who I was. Mr. Black knew who I was. I was a little bitty boy. He said, oh, you that little boy from New York. Hey, they pay for their bags in New York, don't it? I'm like, nah, just in some places. You know, he used to ask me that all the time. I mean, like, every time I come down, I'm like, my man Craig on Friday, I'm like, man, every time I come here, man, you talk about the same shit. But I'm just showing you how attached they were to the community. They was very attached to the community. Come on, man. Come on. Let's keep it 1,000. The fate of the grocery stores is up in the air. It is. It's up in the air. Until some investors start coming in and having some real discussions. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Councilwoman Clay, yo, she the realest. Whether you like her or you don't, she the realest. What this is about bread. Ain't about nothing else. Ain't talking about look. We can talk about thriving. We can talk about this. We can talk about that. But if you got the bread, you can clean that up. If you got the bread, whatever's blighted in that area, you gonna clean it up. Just keep it 1,000. If you got the bread, if that model structure of that part of the land that you want don't fit, you're gonna tear it down and you're gonna build something new to fit what you want. That's basically what the whole nitty-gritty of this is. Let's just keep it one stack. I ain't gonna be on this joint long. That's what this whole thing is about. Nitty-gritty. I appreciate the discussions. See, the council was not, it was not a total loss. It was not a waste of time, because it needs to be, discussions need to be made. But what it was all about is money. Money. People come, because when that woman came up and talked about that co-op program and about folks coming in, investors coming in, that's what it was all about. It's about, she said, oh, so really it's about money. Finding folks, getting grant funds, things like that. That's what it's all about. And that's the nitty-gritty of it is. And you just don't get no simpler than that. Because that's what this is about. If you got the bread, you can get what you want. If that location, for example, Terry Road in McDowell is one of the dopest locations. It's just like over here Ellis Avenue, over here Ellis Bobby Rush and in Robinson Road, right here. This intersection. This grocery store is thriving, moving, grooving. All that's moving. Ain't no empty stores up in Western Plaza. Moving, grooving. Moving, grooving. Terry Road, McDowell's, moving, groove too. Well, we gotta see what the traffic's like and what empty stores around there is like and this, that, whatever, and what's blighted. Let me tell you something. And many, like many of you already know, I'm going to say something that you guys already know. If you got the bread and there's something blighted, you're going to tear it down. Especially if it's around your store. If you want that store, you're going to find some other ways to create an attraction to bring other businesses to that area. If there are empty storefronts. If you want that store, you're going to reach out to other businesses in that area. Say, hey, I'm here. I appreciate y'all. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Whatever happened to the business improvement district? What happened to all of the businesses getting together and pooling their resources together to keep the city, the area safe? Whatever happened to that? Because if you can get something, if you can get a crowdfund like that going, bro, you ain't got to worry about safety. You ain't got to worry about blight. You hire your own security. You hire your own maintenance. Keeping one stacked. This is the 601 Network. The Real Jackson News.